Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And we had a little bit of a technical slip up with this video, actually. But before I did this recording, I actually did a previous recording. But I found out I was actually watching the initial trailer, the first trailer for the movie Free Guy, and now I have watched trailer 2. Now, there were some things I thought about trailer 1 that were a little underwhelming. I felt that it didn't give away too much. I think the first trailer is actually a really good trailer to showcase what this movie is bringing to the table. Trailer 2, however, gives away way too much information. And I'm putting that forward now before I actually go into the descriptions of the trailer and how I feel about it, and not how I feel about it, but kind of dissecting it. Because I don't want people to be spoiled if they do want to see this movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled, click off of this video now. Go watch the first trailer, because that doesn't give away too much, and it gives you basically what you want to see. So now that we're through that, let's go into this trailer. So we've already established previously in the first trailer that Ryan Reynolds is basically an NPC in this world. That is actually a video game, and he basically comes to realize this at a point when he meets this woman. Now, this woman does not show up. She shows up a fair amount in the first trailer, but in this trailer, she's more front and center. She's very much a starring role in this, co-starring in it with Ryan Reynolds. In the first trailer, it makes it seem like it's Ryan Reynolds, and then she kind of pops in and out at times. But this trailer kind of really cements in that she is a major part of this movie. And basically the whole idea is that, Ryan Reynolds is, after the initial part of it, which is basically very similar to the first trailer where he wakes up and gets his clothes on and stuff and then goes out, I shouldn't say that. We get this voiceover from him, and then that eventually leads into a small scene where he's talking to his friend, who's another NPC, who's a police officer, basically saying, like, is there more to this? He's basically, reminiscing about the point of, like, is there more to the world than what they actually do? And it's kind of interesting to think about that when you think about, a non-playable character in a video game. If you gave that character an actual, personality and sentience of some sort. So basically, he then proceeds to, I would assume, break his programming, and he finds this woman again in the city, and basically semi-stalks her, I guess. And then he kisses her, which is even funnier, because then as soon as that scene happens, in the trailer, as soon as that scene happens, we then shift over into the real world, where the woman who is playing that character, who basically looks almost identical, except she's blonde and wearing a sweater, and I guess they tried to make her look a bit nerdy, as opposed to her video game counterpart. And she's just like, what happened? And it's kind of funny that now she's apparently in love with Ryan Reynolds, who's an NPC character in a video game, and she's a character in the real world. And they also reveal, which they don't reveal in the initial trailer, they don't show a whole lot of real world elements in the first trailer, or at least real world elements that we're aware of. But in this, they showcase them a lot more. They cement it that it is the real world. There's actually a Jeopardy scene in this with Alex Trebek, which I think is a little out of place. Having a Jeopardy question with it, I think that joke fell a little bit flat. I don't think that was very well written, personally. But then we go through this whole thing where basically we find out the plot of the movie, which is the thing that they didn't do in the first trailer that I liked. But in this trailer, they reveal the whole plot, which is basically the idea that Ryan Reynolds is breaking this game. Because he is this new NPC, and he's basically going around and killing all the players, or all the bad players that are destroying the city, because it's his city and he doesn't want to see it get blown up. Which I guess kind of makes sense at least for a character motivation. But then we have a situation where they find out that basically Taika Waititi, who is confirmed to be the big bad guy, he's basically the guy that owns the company that makes and maintains the game. Then I assume works all of his programmers like slave labor, although that's not necessarily different from reality. and he then sends them to basically take him out, which I don't understand why you couldn't just delete his programming, because that, unless they have an in-universe reason for why they can't do that. And apparently the reason why Ryan Reynolds is being attacked in this game is because these are all the thugs and the other players that are now trying to kill him, or perma-kill him, or something like that. But then we find out what the big stakes are for the third act, which is that they are apparently going to shut down the game server because it is so broken, which will destroy the game world and will ultimately kill Ryan Reynolds, the city, and everybody that he gives a shit about. So now you have the motivation for why he's doing it, and you understand what's happening. And then you also see a bunch of these scenes from the climax where he's like racing through the city, almost Inception style, with like the streets caving in on themselves. You still have some of that, like, the Ryan Reynolds kind of like goofy, sort of happy-go-lucky humor that he has. And really, that's really what the trailer shows. Is it gives away what happens. It doesn't give away necessarily the climax, though. It doesn't give away the final scenes of the film, where he's able to defeat, whoever, Taika Waititi or whoever the people are that are in the game world that are hunting him, any of that stuff. It doesn't give any of that away, but at the same time, we know that's going to happen. We can see the game world getting deleted in this trailer. We see it, like, disintegrating, basically. And like I said, it gives Reynolds' character a little bit more depth, because we get those voiceovers, and we get a bit more of his relationship with this woman who's in this game, which I don't think we actually get her name. But it doesn't sit right with me, because it commits the cardinal sin of trailers. It gives away together with the first trailer. The second trailer gives away the entirety of the plot, because now we understand why Ryan Reynolds has the urge to confront the bank robber in the first trailer, and we understand that he finds out that he's in a game, and then we understand his motivation now, which is to protect the people that are in the game, because they're real people to him, even though it's a game and they're actually just computer programs. And then we also understand the climax, or what the big bad guy is going to do, where he's just going to delete the game. So we know all of the character motivations already, which now kind of destroys the ability to watch the movie in some sort of a sense, which, again, it's the problem that a lot of trailers have, or a lot of advertising departments have when they're doing trailers, is you're doing a second trailer, you want to reveal a little bit more, you want to do this, you want to do that, because you can't do the same thing you did with the first trailer, and I get that. But at the same time, if you reveal the entire movie, because, again, there's going to be another trailer, there's going to be a final trailer that's probably going to come out before this movie is released, which I believe is on December 11th of this year. And that is that, now you have that final trailer, so what do you have left? You have the stuff from the third act that you didn't see in this. That's basically all you have. Like I said, you got some funny moments in the trailer. You get Ryan Reynolds getting hit by a train, which apparently also in this world, when they die, they just respawn the next day. So it's not like an issue where Ryan Reynolds' character is finite, at least in the sense of the game world anyway. I'm assuming they'll change that at some point to put at least some stakes into this. But it appears that he just respawns in his bed the next morning. So it's kind of like a Groundhog Day thing. Even though Bill Murray drove into the quarry in the truck and it blew up and killed him, he still wakes up in bed the next morning, and it's the same day. It's that kind of an idea. And that, again, it's an advertising goof. I don't blame it on the film. I blame the advertising department. But as usual, I'm going to link both of the trailers below. Like I said, if you don't give a shit about spoilers, you can watch the second trailer. Or if you do give a shit about spoilers, you can watch it, despite the fact you're listening through this entire video of me describing it. If you give a shit about spoilers, watch the first trailer, which I will also have linked below. And it'll give you a decent idea of the film. It'll give you a decent idea of the motivations and what's going on with the characters. And I think that ultimately, I don't think it's going to necessarily hurt the movie, but it does. It's not as egregious as like a Batman v Superman when they showed Doomsday in the second trailer. It's not nearly as egregious as that. But it does, take away a little bit from the actual film when you sit down and when you're going to sit down and watch it. But like I said, that'll be linked below, but I want to know what you think. Are you excited for Free Guy? Do you like Ryan Reynolds? Do you like Taika Waititi? Do you think that this was a good idea for a film? Do you think it's a good premise? Do you not care? As usual, put your thoughts in the comments below. I like to read them. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?